A very quick video post, this one really just to point out something I don't think I've mentioned before. I won't go into detail because there's plenty of other really very good sources on this, not least the original source. But on the subject of factors that may come into play when we're considering the complexity of our gender natures or our sexuality is an idea that's put forward by one of the world's leading experts on autism, Simon Baron-Cohen, who leads the Autism Research Centre in Cambridge University. Some years ago, he wrote a book called The Essential Difference and had developed a test that looked at the varying abilities that different people have towards empathizing with others, or what he calls systemizing, empathizers or systemizers. And on the autistic spectrum, it seems, with what he calls the extreme male brain, that there are many men, especially, or autistic males, who conform to the systematic, so-called systemizer category. And that's where they like a lot of order. They like to see things systematically. They like to go through methods, not at all good at empathizing, tuning in with non-verbal cues and so on, which is much more the domain. If you look at a kind of bell curve of samples of men and women, not just autistic here, right, the general population, there are far more women who show stronger, according to this test, as empathizers. So he came up, Baron-Cohen, with this idea of the male and female brains, perhaps not innately, but in terms of how they develop, being essentially different, although there's, of course, a lot of overlap between the two as well. I'll put some links if you're interested in discovering more on this. Indeed, there is an online test, which is similar, I think, to the kind of criteria, the kind of test that's used as a part of diagnosing autistic conditions. I'll put that link in the notes for this video. Just mentioning here because it's yet another factor that we probably should mention as part of our explainers around all of this strange stuff around gender dysphoria and trans natures and why some people are different to others. I have a curiosity about this factor. I am myself a systemizer, and therefore would, on this scale, be very much in the male brain area. And indeed, as I said, most that seems to be the case. The majority of men are more towards the systemizer category than the empathizer. However, there are, as a percentage of the population, more males who are autistic males who identify as trans, in other words, male to female identity. So there is a possible contradiction there. I don't think we need to worry too much about that. It is just brings home to me how complex this is, and that this is just another variable. Here, very specifically talking about neural, either what's innate or has developed in the people we are. For women, that's probably a lot easier to understand, that the empathy with a baby, for example, when the baby is born, so nonverbal cues through the facial features, the language of the eyes, is something that is going to be very important for a mother and a baby in their communication. Anyway, the place to go is to look at what others are saying, almost not least Simon Baron-Cohen himself. So links in the description, but yet another possible factor, another very interesting area for us to consider when we are thinking about the differences between the sexes and the complexity of gender.